Hello, everyone, and welcome into episode 2 of the Ranch Roundup. We're reporting live from the Rip Van Winkle Country Club here in Saugerties, New York. So, not Cantine Field today. I'm Logan Brandishton alongside my partner in crime and John Drager. And, John, it's been exactly a week since the last time we did one of these episodes. And since then, it's been a wild road for the Stallions.
Yes, indeed. I believe the laws of gravity go something like this. Whatever goes up must come down. That's exactly what happened to the Stallions in this past week. 3 games that they dropped after their 6-game win streak. 2 of them in a doubleheader against Utica. And then the next day, an 11-0 shutout against Amsterdam. It was not a good 3 days.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we last filmed, like where exactly we were on that winning streak, whether it was towards the end, whether it had just ended. But since then, you mentioned 3-game losing streak, then following it up with back-to-back wins. That's where the Stallions are on this off day today.
It is, and it's a good way to just kind of relax. A 1-0 pitcher's duel between the Dutchman and Stallions. Coulson Buchanan, last night's Ulster Savings Player of the game, 6 innings, only allowing 1 hit, no runs, and 7 strikeouts. Now 30 strikeouts on the year. Basically up in the standings, second in the league in strikeouts for the Wofford pitcher.
Yeah, and John, that pitching performance from Buchanan, definitely one of the best ones we've seen so far in the entire league so far this season. Where does that rank for you in terms of the performances on the pitching side of things that you've seen from the Stallions side?
I definitely think it was probably one of the top 2 performances that we have seen. I think Coulson Buchanan, he is an absolute gem at that pitching spot, able to really locate, know where his pitches are, and really try to hone in, prevent hits, runs, all that stuff. He's doing very well on the mound.
Yeah, and some of the other really good performances that I could think of in these past couple of days, Brian Booley had 4 shutout innings in that game the day before against Oneonta, and then Praxi Vigil had another nice one, 5 shutout innings against Amsterdam in probably the closest game we played against the Mohawks in I believe it was a 3-1 game. He threw 5 shutout innings in relief.
Yeah.
Put your headset on, John.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle right now. We're outside. We're trying to prevent the camera from being overheated. It's a little loose. We're going to try to get that straightened out. So I'll be back. Logan, try to promote our social media down below.
Yeah, and as John gets up to promote the camera, remember you guys can follow us right here on the Saugerties Stallions YouTube channel for all the future Stallions home and road games throughout the year, as well as our Stallions Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As John, it looks like you finally fixed that camera.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch, and it perfectly timed right there as I sat back down. But anyways, what a beautiful day for golf.
Although we're not competing, it's definitely been a beautiful day here at the Stallion Open. And I believe they said at the start 17 teams that are competing.
17, shotgun start. Everyone starts at a hole. There's, I believe there's a few different teams. There's like 1A, 1B, all the way down up till I don't know how many. But either way, it's still a fun time out here. People are having fun, golfing, having a few drinks, trying to win some prizes. A few prizes on the line, I believe, at hole 8, all the way down here at Rip Van Winkle. There is a hole-in-one contest that you'll win a brand new Jeep. Along that, there's a hole-in-one back on, I believe, 14. An Oculus module headset, VR reality. Virtual reality headset on the line if you make a hole-in-one on 14. There's also a putting contest where you could win $5,000 in a raffle. Also, 4 Yankee tickets on the line. Kevin Henchy, he knows how to do this outing.
Yeah, and John, I know you're disappointed. It's not pirate tickets. You were talking about that earlier.
Or you for the Mets as well.
At least my team's in New York. But either way, the one golf-related thing we actually did so far today was the putting contest, and I'm not really
We'll
gonna
leave it at that.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Not talking about our performance at that stage.
No, not at all. It was definitely not our best work on the green. I believe we've gone golfing a combined 5 times so far in the short amount of time we've been here in Saugerties, and we've had better days on the links.
Yeah, and going back to those golfing experiences, we've only been here a couple weeks, but we've been to the Rip quite a few times so far. What are your impressions of just this overall golf course? It's a pretty nice area.
It's a nice, small, quaint area. A beginner's course, I'd like to say. Really get things going, learn the different ways of a par 3, maybe a dogleg right, but I'm really fond of the scenery. You got the Catskill Mountains right behind you, and it's dreamy. I can't imagine what this place would look like in fall.
Yeah, it definitely looked really nice. And a lot of the holes, you mentioned beginner course. You don't really need your driver for a lot of them. I know Kyle McMullen, our other broadcast intern, is currently golfing out there with my driver, but you don't need it on too many holes here.
No, not too many. I believe on most of the par 3s and some par 4s, you could easily use an 8 or 9 iron, maybe for you a 6 iron, which is your best club. But regardless, all these holes, it's a very nice event and very nice place. What better time to go out golfing than right now?
Yeah, it's a beautiful Sunday in Saugerties, and it's an off day for the Stallions, who come into their off day with an even 9-9 record. And just looking back at this past week, John, was there any spotlight moment that you want to look back on as something that could be one of the better moments of the season?
Definitely Brett Heckert on both sides. He's been able to hit the ball consistently now, working his way back into the starting lineup, but he's also been doing it on the defensive side. I believe there was 2 web gem plays in that second game against Utica where he was able to just force 2 outs immediately. One of them was an over-the-shoulder pop fly catch that he made in shallow right field, which was spectacular, I must say. The next batter basically rips one into left field. David Shackelford picks it up, throws it on over to second. Runner trying to slide in. Heckert grabs it, immediately puts them out right there. Beautiful execution by those 2.
Yeah, and there's been basically this entire logjam of sorts at the middle infield spot. A lot of guys kind of vying for some playing time on this team, and Brett Heckert was kind of getting phased out, you could say, a little bit with Evan Goforth's arrival, but he's really earned his way to get more playing time and more starts, and he's been getting that, whether it's that extra hitter, which you've seen a lot, DH sometimes, and even that occasional second base start, like you said.
Oh, yeah. I mean, having that extra hitter and designated hitter is really going to help out the depth pieces. If there's no pitchers going into the batter's box, you might as well implement the DH or the extra hitter with some spots that you have depth in. We've also seen it at that first base spot with Garrett Michelle and Jake Skrine battling between those 2. Haven't seen a lot of Brandon Fish in that extra hitter spot because that hot corner has been his all season.
Yeah, and he's made a few great plays over at third, and probably, we were saying this before the broadcast yesterday, John, it's probably been the one Stallion who has really found his spot to start at in the field and in the lineup. He's been at third base for most of the games this year, and he's hit third in the lineup as well.
Yeah, and that's his spot. He now leads the team in batting average with about above a 400 clip at the plate. I believe not too many Stallions are far behind him. I believe Jake Skrine and Garrett Michelle are just vying right under him, and he's been a very potent hitter for Saugerties, and Colin Martin could have not asked for a better third baseman.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this during the Oneonta game just 2 days ago, but there were 6 Stallions hitting above 300 on the year, and Brandon Fish just leading the pack. And the Stallions, during their winning streak, they had really turned things up offensively, and that offense, it kind of went away during their losing skid, especially against Amsterdam, but they've kind of slowly gained it back of sorts. They've gotten 7 runs in the past 2 games.
Yeah, and it all has to do with this thing I like to call rhythm over rest. They had those 2 days off, one of them being a rain cancellation that would have sent them to Mohawk Valley to face the Diamond Dogs for a second straight game. However, that got rained out, so they got an extra day's rest, and I think that was their downfall from there.
Yeah, and that Mohawk Valley game was it was supposed to be played a couple days ago. They're supposed to go back to Mohawk Valley, I believe on Tuesday, and we still don't know if that's going to be a doubleheader just yet. We're assuming it is.
I mean, I wouldn't say it is. It was going to be at Mohawk Valley, so we're going to Mohawk Valley on Tuesday. It's all lining up to be a doubleheader day there.
Yeah, so the Stallions could be playing a bunch of games in the upcoming stretch, making today's day off very important, as a lot of players were invited to come to the Stallion Open. Haven't seen any just yet, so probably just enjoying the off day.
Yeah, they're probably just going to do a little bit of relaxation. I think I heard Alex Rodriguez and Brandon Fish decide to go fishing at the local creeks and lakes, so hopefully they'll catch some good old bass or trout in the and hopefully they bite as well. I mean, fishing out here, it might be a little too early, maybe just the right time. We'll have to see when they return back to the locker room.
Brandon Fish out fishing. What a cliche right there.
You couldn't have asked for anything more perfect than Brandon Fish fishing.
All right, let's take things back to these past 2 games, and we were talking about the offensive side of things a lot, but one of the aspects of the Stallions really excelled in was on the pitching side of things, as they only allowed 1 run over the past 2 games, 1 run on the road late in the 8th inning against Oneonta, pitched a shutout against Albany, and that was immediately following that 11-0 loss against Amsterdam. Talking about that turnaround that you've seen on the pitching side of things.
Yeah, and it all stems from what happens in the bullpen. Rich Doobie has been working with his guys constantly all season long. He's trying to make sure that their mechanics are right. They're really going to try to settle down, work their pitches right, follow a sequence to try to throw off these batters. And it really is showing down the stretch. I mean, taking a look at Alex Caney as one example, he had a rough start against Amsterdam in his debut this season, giving up a plethora of hits and runs, but slowly over the course, he's honed into his craft. Doobie got him right, and he's probably one of our top aces, probably most likely behind Buchanan, but Caney is a very, very viable option.
Yeah, and Caney pitched a great game a couple days ago. I'm blanking on the opponent, if you can remember.
I believe I think it was the last game of that 6-game stretch.
Yes, I think it was on the road.
Was it? What was it? Watertown? No, that was Bully that had Watertown. Regardless, his last appearance was amazing. It's tough to remember out here. Actually, I might have my books. I could get that real quick.
All right. While John checks his book, we'll kind of take a little recap in these past couple of days on the pitching side of things. We were talking about it yesterday. In the Albany game at Canton Field, Coulson Buchanan, 6 innings, only allowing 1 hit, striking out 7. Then Andy Affont came in for his 2nd appearance on the year and went, I believe, 2 innings, only allowed 1 run, which came back in the 8th inning. And then Praxi Vigil came in for that 9th inning save. But there's also a scary moment in that 9th inning as well, as Ryan Prado, who just came over from UMass Lowell, same school as Brandon Fish, played a stellar game at the catcher position, but towards the very start of that 9th inning, took a very scary hit on a deflected pitch.
Yeah, that ball got fouled back right into his chin. He now has a concussion. His return is unknown to us right now, but we'll keep you updated once we learn more information.
And it's just a very concerning sight to see, as it was only his first day on the job, and he had done a lot right for that Stallion team. Was a big part of the reason why that shutout was going as strong as it did. So we definitely hope the best for Ryan Prado.
Yeah, we really do. He was a great catcher, a temporary contract out of the Cape Cod League, one of the best summer collegiate baseball leagues in the nation. And unfortunate for him that he got his first appearance as a Stallion, he gets knocked out via concussion.
And you talk about the Cape Cod League, another guy that just came back from that league as well was Fritz Genther, who we saw get a Stallion shirt. He was on the bench for the last game. He played in that opening night game, got the start at 3rd against the Dutchman in that 13-10 loss. So
another UMass Lowell kid.
Yeah.
Lowell kid. I mean, able to play that hot corner, maybe give some rest to Brandon Fish on those off days, because we've been working him like a horse, no pun intended.
So I was just going to ask you, because Fritz Genther obviously was a part of the Stallion championship team last year. Being that his role is on the left side of the infield, what would that do to Brandon Fish? How would they kind of maneuver the playing time, you would think, between those guys at the middle infield? Or on the left side of the infield?
I'd say you have to implement Fish at that designated hitter or extra hitter spot right now. I mean, he's been one of the hottest bats in the league, even on the team, just really working his count, able to drive the ball into the outfield, make solid contact. We've seen it in batting practice. We've seen it in the field. He's been hustling all over. He's earned his right at the hot corner, so I think he's the number 1 man. Fritz will be the number 2, trying to get back his footing after being cut from the Cape Cod League, really trying to work things out.
Yeah, and we'll definitely see. Maybe we can even see Fritz Genther at the shortstop spot, because third base, Brandon Fisher's played a stellar glove so far this year, and shortstop, we've kind of seen guys like Alex Rodriguez and even Evan Goforth as well kind of mixed in some playing time. It's been mostly A-Rod's spot. We've seen more Goforth there in these past couple of games.
Yeah, there's not a lot of depth in the middle infield. I believe it's just those three guys in Goforth, Heckert, and Rodriguez. But taking a look, Heckert hasn't really shifted over to that shortstop position. Second base has been his primary spot, no secondary. Rodriguez and Goforth, they flip-flop between second and shortstop. I think those two were out of position there. They work better at Goforth second, Rodriguez at shortstop. It works better that way.
Yeah, and we'll definitely see over the coming days kind of what the Stallions and Colin Martin chooses to do at that infield spot, especially if Fritz Genther does return. I want to take a quick look into the 3 losses occurred by the Stallions because they were on an all-time high before that. They had won 6 games. They were a game away from tying a franchise record, 7 straight victories, and then the trip to Utica happens.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at that first game, only 3 hits, no runs, 2 errors for the team. I believe the only people to get a hit that day was Michelle, Goforth, and Heckert, so a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, and it was definitely a rough day at the dish for the Stallions against Utica, as John currently fixing the camera for us, so we apologize for the issues on that front. And really in both games for the Stallions against Utica, the bats went completely silent until the 7th inning because it was a 7-inning doubleheader, and the only runs that were scored were in that 7th inning in Game 2.
Yeah, it was a huge run right there. I mean, able to have Utica really come back, storm from down, I believe, 1 or 2 runs, and then quickly in that 7th inning with fresh new arms coming out of the bullpen. It was a rough night from Rich Doobie's squad. A little pitching aspects. The defense wasn't really there to help out, and it only made things worse. It snowballed that very next game.
Yeah, and that was a battle between 2 hot teams, one in the East in the Stallions and one in the West Division in the Blue Sox. And these are 2 teams that, if all things keep going the way they are, they could find themselves in playoff consideration.
Yeah, it could be a matchup between those 2. We don't know where. It could be in Utica again. We'd have to make that 2.5-hour trek all the way there. Maybe sit in the bleachers once more, do our broadcast there. But yeah, they've been playing good. They had 6-game winning streaks before entering that doubleheader between those 2. So it was only a matter of time before one of them would drop.
Yeah, and that doubleheader was one of 2 doubleheaders we'll see against the Blue Sox so far this year. The other one is going to come in Saugerties, New York. So those would be the only 2 other times that you could potentially see these 2 teams meet up. And Utica currently still the top team in the West Division, and that would be a fun matchup if it were to happen. Those 2 games and the Amsterdam game were the ones that made up that 3-game losing streak that the Stallions were on, as John Drager currently trying to get a potential interview candidate here to join us on our trusty Ulster Savings golf cart to potentially do some interviews here and talk to people during the Stallion Open, kind of see how their performances are both on the links today and talk about the Stallion season as well. So we're going to try and get some people there as well and talk a little bit more about the offensive side of things. And during that Utica doubleheader, third base coach Adam Cray talked about that doubleheader being the least aggressive, or actually it was the Amsterdam game being the least aggressive that he's ever been on the base path so far this year, as the Stallions only had 2 or 3 hits that game. Don't really remember which number it was, but no stolen bases at all during that Amsterdam game. And then just immediately following that Amsterdam game, they were a lot more aggressive on the base paths, and the stolen bases came in bunches. We got Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, coming on for the Stallions, joining us from the Ulster Savings golf cart.
Yes, welcome.
Interesting setup we got here.
It is. We gotta prioritize comfort for you guys.
I don't even have enough cord here. Comfort. Holy cow.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. What do you got here? Hurry up. I got to tee off.
So, Stallion Open so far, how's it going for you out there? Start
Great.
with that.
It's always a good time. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun.
Yeah, how are you shooting on the link so far?
We're there. We're hanging around. Yeah.
So you got the team with Kyle McMullen, Adam Cray out there. How would you judge their performances? Because we've seen them a few times out in the links, but you're playing with them firsthand now today.
I'm getting close to giving them their release papers. Yeah, we're getting close. We got 9 more holes, and then after this 18 today, there's a good chance they'll be released. No, they're done fine.
Yeah.
They're both good fine.
Yeah. One thing that's been really doing well as of late has been the pitching. You've been really working with these guys in the bullpen, really trying to hone in on their craft with any technique possible. How's the process been?
It's coming. It's coming. It's amazed me just in the 2 years I've been here, and I don't want to put people down, but kids don't understand how to throw a baseball properly. They are not taught how to throw a baseball. They might be taught how to throw it with velocity in today's world, but they don't understand how they're doing it or why things are happening in the deliveries. And that's why the adjustment process on the mound is so slow and you see so many base on balls and walks in the game today. But it's been a blast. These kids are a good group of guys, and they put in a lot of good work, and hopefully we continue to gain on it. And when they leave here, they'll be that much better.
So these past 2 games, the pitching performance has been probably at its peak so far, only allowing 1 run. When you look at that, how is that looks for you so far as we kind of near the midway point in the season?
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm not too worried about how many runs we give up. I want to throw strikes and make the game go. I mean, you see the games that we have not thrown a lot of strikes, a lot of walks involved. That is the epitome of bad baseball. You see a whole lot better game of baseball played where the pitchers are pounding the strike zone, working fast, the defenses are on their toes, the hitters know they have to be swinging, and the game goes. I mean, when you don't throw a lot of strikes, everything kind of gets stagnant and stale, and just the flavor of the whole game goes the wrong way.
Yeah, one of those pitchers that has been really honing in on the strike zone is last night's starter in Coulson Buchanan. 7 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. How's he been progressing here?
He's been fabulous. He was real good when he came here. His deliveries continue to get cleaned up, but he's been great. He's a strike thrower. He comes from a baseball area at East Cobb in Georgia there, so he's been around baseball. He understands his delivery. He knows how it works. We'll see if he adds velocity in the future, but he can pitch anywhere in college baseball right now. He is a command specialist. He attacks. There isn't a whole lot of time in between pitches. I think he threw 13 balls out of 65 pitches last night, which was phenomenal. And he probably could have had a couple more strikes. So, I mean, you love to see it and you love to play behind it.
Yeah, and it was an hour and 57-minute game yesterday with Coulson Buchanan.
Broke the MLB record unofficially.
MLB? This isn't MLB. Come on. What's wrong with you guys?
If it was, it would have broken the record.
What was is where you're at. This isn't the MLB. Let me get one thing straight. This is a far cry from the MLB.
Yes.
Okay. This is a nice collegiate league. But the MLB is a little different character than this. A little different specimen playing the game up there. And if you ever watch it on a consistent basis, you'd say the speed of the game is lightning fast. So, yeah, MLB, no, not quite.
So you've been up here for 2 years now. Any favorite moments so far?
No, the golf tournaments are good. Just being with a group of guys we had last year and the group of guys we have this year, it's all good times. A lot of good fun, a lot of good ribbon. I have a way of poking at people, and I'll develop either you get the little thicker skin as you guys are finding out, or you pack it in and go home, and
We're learning the hard way out here. With
all right. Well, you're going to learn the hard way now because I'm leaving because I have to tee off again.
All right, thank you for coming, Coach.
Thank you for coming,
you guys, I mean, really, if you were a little tougher and a little more mentally disciplined, you could have done this without the shade, but I don't blame you having the shade.
Hey, they offered the pop-up tent, so we got to
We're
take
not going
it.
to refuse free shade from the golf course.
See you guys later.
Thanks,
Have a good one,
Coach.
Coach.
And that was assistant pitching coach, I should say, Rich Doobie, on the Ranch Roundup. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, that was a lot of great thoughts from him. I mean, he's someone who's been around the game. You talk about MLB a lot. He's been around the MLB game for about a couple decades now at this point.
Was a part of the 2008 World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies for all of our Philadelphia listeners out there.
And you talk about Rich Doobie being here for 2 years. There's a lot of moments he could have choose from. He was talking about the golf that was out here and these tournaments. He during the start of the season, he was given the award for the Manager of the Year. He officially got that trophy because last year he had to fill in as the head coach due to some health issues with Colin Martin, who's now back and thankfully all healthy now. So he was able to get that. He won a ring last year. So just a humble guy, Rich Doobie is.
Very humble, very likable. Will tell you how it is as well. He's a little bit of a tough love type of person.
And now I think.
Working. Oh, look at this!
Now we do have another visitor. Not really too much of a special guest. You guys hear and see from him every day, unfortunately.
It's our three-man booth
It's
right here.
Kyle McMullen joined us from the Ulster Savings golf cart.
Did I just hear you say, unfortunately, you have to hang out with me?
I said, unfortunately, the listeners have to hear from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Still got to take a dig at you. You're
Fair
out
enough,
here golfing.
fair enough.
We're working.
So we heard from Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, that after today, you and Adam Cray might be getting your release papers from your golfing quartet.
Yeah, no, he keeps talking about how he's already signed him. He's giving me the sign, we got to go. I know.
He's hearing it from everybody.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah, he's giving me the runaround right now. We're playing all right. We're about, I think, 1 under through 9, so not
There you go.
ideal for a 4-man scramble. However, this back 9 is going to be absolutely electric from the guys. I predict that third base coach Adam Cray is going to have an absolute day right here. Doobie is
Swing
giving
right
him
now.
a lot of really good pointers. He just hit that one into the trees, and that's
yeah,
fine.
That's not a good shot.
No, not a good swing, but it's okay because we're just going to keep one step, just keep climbing the ladder, keep going up, and up, and that's all we're looking for.
So before you go, Kyle, how's my driver treating you? I gotta know.
Oh, dude, not good.
Oh, no. I don't think it's the driver. It's the man behind it.
It's never the equipment. Unfortunately, I have no excuses. I'm just not playing my game right now.
And now, after just hitting the trees, emerging from the bushes, Adam Cray coming
on in.
right behind us.
Yeah.
Wish me luck, guys. I'm going to go hit my tee shot now.
All right,
All
have
right,
fun with
have
that.
fun.
You hopping on?
Alrighty, Adam Cray, third base coach, coming into the Ulster Savings golf cart. Welcome to the Ranch Roundup. How are you feeling out here on this course?
You know, boys, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm not that much of a golfer, but we're having a good day today.
Yeah, I mean, we've golfed with you a few times, and we saw how you've progressed on the links, and right now you could have your best round.
Yeah, we could. We had a couple birdies earlier in the first 9 holes, and it's been a good day, man. Dewey's been carrying the load, and so has Kyle, but Kyle's been teaching me a couple times throughout the last couple weeks on our off days, so I've been getting out here with him. Isn't that right, boy? Doing our best, exactly.
So,
exactly.
I woke up around 7:30. You were already out there chipping, doing some practicing there.
Of course,
Was
man.
that for the chipping contest happening later, or just for the overall day?
No, that's for Doobie and Miss Doobie. You know, so they were with me last year. I was kind of slacking a little bit, so I had to make sure I was prepared today and have a little bit of practice coming in today.
Yeah,
so.
one thing that Doobie did mention earlier in his interview is that he's going to build thick skin, and I think that's one of those moments where he's going to help you build that thick skin. So how's been hanging around him in the clubhouse, the dugout? How's that experience?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I said this last year. It's going on year 2 with our relationship, but he's a great mentor, even better person. I couldn't ask for a better coach to be underneath him and Colin as well. I mean, they're just a great group of dual coaches doing their best is what they can, and being out here is just a relaxing time, and it's a very nice off day for everybody. So.
All right, we'll let you enjoy the rest
for
of
sure,
that
man.
off
It's
day.
great to see you guys. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad from back home. Jordan, love you. Have a good one, all right?
All right,
See you,
have
boys.
a fun back 9.
Appreciate it, guys.
No problem. And that was third base coach Adam Cray here on the Ranch Roundup. And taking a look from these past interviews, I mean, you saw Rich Doobie, you saw Adam Cray, and you also saw our third member here in Kyle McMullen.
Whether you
all
like it or
nice
not.
guys. All nice guys.
Yeah, no, it's a good crew that we have up here in Saugerties, New York, and I don't want to speak for John, but I'm sure he would agree. Couldn't ask for anything more when you're trying to learn a lot about the team and just being around this team as much as we are. Couldn't ask for a better group.
Oh, not at all. I mean, the team, they are very nice. I mean, I believe you mentioned it on the broadcast. IXL Health and Fitness, the gym that we have here in Saugerties. I go there about 5-6 days a week trying to lift and everything.
And it's well known amongst the players that you do go.
It is. They always see me there. We're talking, having some jabs. I believe Garrett Michaud asked me to change his song when at the gym. That was new.
There have been a lot of song changes from the guys. I don't know who's had the most song changes, but there have been a few who have done it a few times.
We got to keep track of that. I feel like
Gotta keep it a stat.
Yeah, well, advanced analytics right here between us two. I believe Alex Rodriguez had one. Colin Mackel had one or two.
Michelle changed it yesterday.
He did, yes. I'd say the highest is 2, possibly 3. And if it's 3, I'm blanking on who changed it 3 times.
If I had a guess, it might have been A-Rod, but that's just my guess.
It is a guess. But all these guys out here on the field that you see day in and day out, working, trying to win games for you fans, they're all nice people, really great guys. They're just having fun out here. And it's a little bit of a brotherhood that's bonding in this locker room.
Oh, yeah, and that just comes with, like, just being around the guys as much as they have been. I mean, we're around the 3-4 week mark just about so far, and when you're around those guys, when it's in the locker room, taking a bunch of road trips and spending off days together like a few guys are in these past couple days, like, it just comes natural.
Oh, it does. I mean, the bond is really growing together. You see them talking, chatting, having fun in the dugout, really trying to play some jokes on the other team, high-fiving each other, getting out onto the field to congratulate the defense, the pitcher, on a job well done so they can get the bats rolling. And it's all working together, and this team is slowly coming to be, and it's really showing on the field, as we mentioned before.
I want to backtrack to kind of the storyline that's been there throughout the entire year. Adam Cray mentioned it when he was on the golf cart, but just the double coaching duties, like the dual coaches that Colin Martin and Rich Doobie, they're kind of splitting that role together. It's Colin Martin still the head coach and Rich Doobie moving back to pitching coach, and it's the first time that these two really worked together so far this year, and there were a lot of, I guess, there's a lot of mixed expectations as Colin Martin, he was the head man for quite some time, took a year off, and then Rich Doobie immediately comes in, wins a championship. How hard would it be for someone to win a championship as kind of that interim head coach that Rich Doobie was, and then immediately kind of go back to that pitching coach role?
I mean, based on what we've talked to Doobie about, he loves it here in Saugerties. I don't think he'd want it any other way. And winning a championship for this community, for this team, and for this entire fan base is a very huge thing for him. And having to do that as that interim head coach role, it was a little bit special for him. And having Colin Martin back is a little bit of a happy thought. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about the hitters and the pitchers. I can just work solely with the pitching staff to really work on them throwing the baseball correctly, trying to throw strikes, do it with velocity, and throw the mechanics correctly and accurately. So having him to go back to that pitching role is going to be huge for the bullpen. But Colin Martin, we've seen him. He knows his stuff with the bat and on base and fielding. Great guy to have.
Yeah, I have nothing but positives to say about Colin Martin and his return so far. 9-9. It started out extremely rough as well with a 1-6 start. But what have you seen from him so far?
He's very calm, collected. He wants to develop these players to become better. I mean, with most of the teams that you see in the PGCBL, they get players to win. They want to win. Here in Saugerties, we're here to develop players to become the best that they can be. And it's slowly showing out on the field. And taking a look at last year, that's exactly what happened. We developed players to become a better team, a better individual on the baseball diamond. And it turned out to be a nationwide tour delivering rings to all these former Stallions.
And Kevin Hinchy embarked on that months and months long tour all across the country.
We've seen it on social media. The rings that he got, ridiculous.
He went all out, and we'll see. Maybe the Stallions, if they keep up this hot streak, maybe they could be on track to do that again.
Yeah, they currently find themselves third in the East Division, 3.5 behind the Albany Dutchmen, who now have split games 2 apiece.
Yeah, and they're a little bit further behind the Amsterdam Mohawks, who still sit in first place in that East Division. They're 0-4 against Amsterdam, but we heard Adam Cray mentioned this to us off air. Last year, when the Stallions won the championship, they went 3-8 or something like that, 3-9.
3-8, I believe,
against the Mohawks during the regular season, but they won when it mattered. So, what do the Stallions right now of this year needs to continue to get better on to get on track to potentially beat Amsterdam when it matters?
just keep on the hitting. Amsterdam has some very solid aces coming up out of the bullpen. They've been struggling to hit against the Mohawks. So if they get the hitting going against Amsterdam, it could be a wild game for the Stallions.
And one thing I do want to mention, just kind of backtracking real quick to Martin and Doobie. Colin Martin, he comes from Weber International as their collegiate coach there. He brought pitchers Praxi Vigil, TJ Lopez onto the team. And Rich Doobie last year, he got to work with players on the offensive side like David Shackelford, Colin Mackel, and potentially Fritz Genther if he does come back. So the pitching coach has worked with 3 of the hitters on this year's team, and the head coach has worked with 2 of the pitchers on this year's team.
Talk about irony. I mean, taking a look there, Colin Martin doing well, grabbing some pitchers from his main collegiate team in Weber International down in Florida. Praxi Vigil, personal favorite of yours, Logan.
Fun name to say.
It is a fun name. You always get excited when he comes out of the bullpen.
Like yesterday.
He did you got yesterday. 1 inning of work, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Got the save. His first of the season.
All right, so now we've been talking back and forth for 35 minutes. We brought on some distinguished guests to join us from our golf cart. John, is there anything else we need to talk about here?
I mean, you guys got to stay tuned because the content that's going to be coming out with photos from previous games, all the graphics, and possibly even a recap of this Stallion Open. Keep your eyes out on the social media, Facebook, Twitter, at PGCBL Stallions, and on Instagram at the Saugerty Stallions.
This man right here in John Drager has been running around taking pictures left and right the past hour, maybe 2, to get pictures pretty much everywhere as he shows the camera going around. Cameras going around all the 18 holes to get a bunch of pictures. He'll be staying throughout the rest of the day to get a bunch of pictures, and I'm sure I could find him later on in the day editing those pictures to post out to all of you.
I'm probably going to be staying up quite some time, developing and editing, all that stuff. It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day for John Drager. And taking a look before we head off at our schedule moving forward, the Stallions, although they just went to Oneonta 3 days ago, they're going to be going back there tomorrow for another game against the Outlaws, 7:05 p.m. before a battle against Mohawk Valley. So back-to-back road appearances for the Stallions. That Mohawk Valley game, we don't know yet. It could be a doubleheader.
It could be a doubleheader. It might be a makeup. It's going to be in Little Falls at Veterans Memorial Stadium. No sign yet as to it being a doubleheader. We'll keep you updated throughout the week to see if it will be 2 7-inning games. But other than that, keep your eye on a 5-game stretch coming up.
Yeah, and the game against the Outlaws coming up tomorrow. The Stallions already 3-0 against Oneonta so far this year. Picked up their biggest win against them a couple days ago, winning 6-1. The other 2 games were both won on walk-offs.
Yeah, it was 2 walk-offs in one day, and owner Kevin Hinchy, he really wanted to spread the word about that, send it everywhere, try to get the national media to pick that up. We tried our best, unfortunately.
Hashtag SportsCenter Top 10.
Yeah, SportsCenter. 2 walk-offs one day. Come on. What's better than that?
The Stallions will be in Cantine Field next on Wednesday as they take on the Glens Falls Dragons. The second time that these 2 teams will have faced off. The other time ended with a 10-1 victory.
Yeah, it was a huge win, and that's actually from earlier backtracking, Alex Caney's last performance against the Glens Falls Dragons.
We always circle back, guys. We always do
circle back, folks. Trying to pull it up right here. There we go. Alex Caney, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts.
There you go. And while the starting pitcher for tomorrow, still don't really know who it is yet. If Alex Caney's back, it could be him. He took a weekend away to go back home to Florida. We don't really know who's next up in line, as it probably would be Caney.
It probably would be Caney. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less for him. And usually it's been Buchanan at Caney, and those 2 have really been working together, going off one another. I feel like it's a competition between those 2 as one's trying to up the next, and it's only going to lead to some great results on the mound.
Well, who's going to start? We're going to have to find out tomorrow, as we'll be right back here. Not at the Rip. We'll be back at Cantine Field right here on the Saugerty Stallions YouTube channel. You've been listening to Episode 2 of the Ranch Roundup from my broadcast partner in John Drager. And for all of our interviewees in Rich Doobie, Adam Cray, and Kyle McMullen. I'm Logan Moranis. We thank you for listening to this episode. Tune in every Sunday for what's happening around the Stallions. We could be recording at Can Time. We could be recording just anywhere around town. Just find us on the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks. End.